Good morning, YouTube. I'm on the Golden Gate Bridge at sunrise this morning to shoot this video. And I'm going to be talking about kind of the daily life of inpatient psychiatric care. Okay, so when I work in inpatient psychiatric care, I usually get to the unit at about 9:30. I do a couple of chart reviews, right? So I'm looking at the patient, seeing their diagnosis, thinking, how is music therapy best gonna serve them? Now, from diagnosis alone, we definitely don't know, right? The diagnosis for one person can show very differently, as well as for another person, it can present as something else, right? However, it gives us some information, how we want to approach the treatment. So then I print out my group logs. So I basically mark who was there and who was not on that group log. And then I wheel all my instruments. I bring a bunch of instruments into the unit. So I bring in my keyboard. I actually bring in a little keytar. It's a Roland AX 49. It's a very fun synth. I bring it into the unit, which doesn't have internal sound. So I connect it to my Bose S1 Pro, which is a very cool speaker. Highly recommend it, especially if you're a traveling musician, because look at this view. Woo. The Bose S1 Pro is amazing because it charges up. In the inpatient unit, there's no outlets because that's a safety risk, because there's people that are actively suicidal or homicidal. We don't want patients having that outlets to electrocute themselves. So I have to charge everything up. And then I'll bring my laptop in as well, and a microphone. So I bring in a lot of gear into my sessions. And the reason for that is I like to give my patients options, right? Sometimes I'll have a piano player in the unit, right? So I want them to have the option to play piano. Sometimes I'll have a guitarist in the unit, right? So I want to pass off the guitar, right, to them. I actually also bring a ukulele and hand drums and shakers. The hand drums and shakers, I can pass to almost anyone, right? Like, nobody needs to be a musician to play hand drums and shakers, right? So equipment is set up for success, group logs are printed, and I'm wheeling out to my first session. So at 10 a.m., I'll do my first session. I'll just go over what yesterday was like, or Monday actually. So I did a 10 to 10:30 session. And then I document as quickly as possible. In inpatient psych, you're documenting every single patient, right? So even if they didn't show up to the group, you still have to check the boxes and say, this person didn't attend group. They were in the bed, they were in the hallway, right? Brief, but you still got to do it. And with 20 patients in each unit, right, that adds up. So yeah, then I had an 11 to 11:50 session. Also same thing, document as quickly as possible, print out all those notes from the first two sessions and went to file them. After that, I took a very, very quick lunch, maybe like a 15-minute lunch. And then I'm off to my next group. It's already 1 p.m. by then, right? So I finished that last group at 11:50. By the time I've documented that last session and then filed all of the notes, it's already 12:40. So I make my way down, grab lunch. Honestly, like 10 to 15 minutes. It was quick. And then I'm off to the next group. And then I run 3 groups in a row. So I do a 1 p.m. to 1:50, 2 to 2:50, 3 to 3:50, right? After that, I have a little documentation break, which I actually didn't end up using for documentation because there was like a little Zumba for staff. So I ended up staying for that. That was kind of fun. Usually I document at that time. Anyways, then 4:15, I do a joint group with the kids unit. So it's like 2 very small groups. And then I'm done for the day session-wise, but not documentation-wise. So at this point, the goal for me is to only have 3 notes to do and to file at this point. So sometimes Sometimes this is doable, sometimes it's not. Sometimes the notes take longer. If I have more patients, the notes are gonna take longer. It's usually doable. But yeah, so the goal is to have 3 notes to file that are uncompleted at this time. And then I bang those out, you know, just get on the grind on the laptop, type out all those notes. And once that's done, file it and go home. Earliest I've made it out on a Monday is about 8:15. So I do a pretty long day, but this is contracted music therapy work. This is not me working as a full-time music therapist. So in this particular contract, I work 6 sessions on Mondays, and then I'll do 7 sessions on Fridays. So Fridays will actually be a slightly longer day. It's a good day. So I get to bring a lot of joy to the patients, a lot of validation, like hearing their music, kind of honoring that space that people have. And it's really a blessing. Even though it is a long day, I feel very rewarded and just blessed to be able to have a job like this. When I tell people what I do, they're like, you know, often people are like, this is such a cool job. I really don't want to take that for granted, because it is a cool job. You know, this isn't to brag or anything, but like, I make a lot of people's days in the hospital, and music is a profound catalyst for healing. You know, I don't own the music, but I do bring it into them and sometimes back into their life after a while. And it's really awesome to be able to share it with this group of people. So if you have any questions about music therapy, by the way, about music therapy and psychiatric work, or if you're trying to get connected to any music therapist in your area, feel free to shoot me a message, shoot a comment below. Would love to hear from you. I'm just kind of new on this YouTube journey, so any comment that you throw down helps the algorithm a lot, helps me reach one more person. So please shoot a comment if you've made it this far. And if you are interested in music therapy, happy to have a conversation with you. Not trying to sell you anything, so just shoot me a message. I'm happy to connect. Always excited to see new people in this field. So as you can tell, I live in San Francisco, if it wasn't obvious enough. So yeah, let me know. I would love to hear from you. All right, anyways, until the next video.